All right, everyone. So this is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. It looks like we just got cut off from our last live stream, and I just went ahead and set up this new one. I do apologize for that. Welcome, everyone, as we get started here for our new session here during New York. It's been a quiet night overnight. It's been a busy night overnight on the calendar. When I say quiet, I mean we're basically back unchanged across the board. All these pairs, slightly up, slightly down. Um, we have seen some firework numbers come out. Great numbers out of the EU, both out of Germany. France's numbers were a little low. And then we saw beats out of Germany. We saw, let me go to the calendar over here. Apologize for that. We saw the euro sell off on good news, good manufacturing news out of the EU, out of Germany, good services numbers out of Germany. And look at all these beats. And then over here out of the EU, manufacturing and services. Services was down slightly, and services was down in France. Uh, Manufacturing up, and then also some big beats out of the UK, but that sent the pound into a big sell off. Reason being is because people are giving the odds of a rate cut next week by the Bank of England at 50-50. And then Canada came in with some weak retail sales. Later on the calendar, in about 45 minutes, we have flash manufacturing PMI in the US. Dollar right now is currently has broken through first. This was during the European session, broke through this resistance, came up, held as support, and now since testing it again and is not holding up. So we'll see where that story leads today. DJ Hanero, Sakila, good morning. We were just doing another live stream that we started about a half hour ago, a little longer, and it just abruptly ended. So I'm glad you guys are in here now in this one as we get started. For me, we got to look across the whole board already this morning. I am curious. You can see gold, silver really having its day, trading up with gold trading down. Gold slightly rising, almost unchanged right now, but silver really, really has a bit into it this morning with the rising dollar. Interesting. Dollar has been coming off though for the last half hour. And what else? New Zealand dollar seems to have a bit of an edge, but it's hard for me to find any real opportunity this morning as the market is mostly unchanged. Um, I am a little hesitant about holding any Japanese yen pairs over the weekend because of the virus in China. If that situation escalates, we could have gaps. Back. Good. Mima, glad you got back in here. Hope the others are able to. I'm sorry for that. I have no idea what happened. This next thing I was talking, going through some analysis. Next thing I knew, that we were not live. Here we are now. I am curious, what has that bid in silver? So let's take a look at the euro. Well, that's a good question. So it looks like 150 pips, and then the break of the neckline. No, I think judging from I think if you're judging the distance of the head to the neckline, you still have much more room to go. Um, I think you still have much more room to go if that's the pattern you're playing. Just watching what's happening here though right now. Uh, DXY is at a very important level. We should get clarity over the next 30 minutes on what happens there. Euro is also, it's not a bad area to consider locking in profits. You from seven, you have it down from the break. I believe it's right over here of the break of the low 72. You're holding from a really good position. We're coming up now. You can see that this was the leg down, consolidated. Next leg down. This is the European PMIs out of the way. All good. Price sold off on it, and has since stabilized. And now it looks like that's a tough one, Heath. We have four under 3.5, and then the eldest is 6.5. So Heath, you're in this trade from a good spot, right around here, right? 1.1072. And now you're holding on to a nice trade as far as what room is left and where you want to lock in your profits. Um, and what's happening this morning with the price action. I think you're gonna get some clarity here in the next 30 minutes. I think you have to have a level in your head of how much you're willing to get back. All right, work all that out, and then make sure you're not using a mental stop. Make sure you have your the place to lock in profits with a set order. They must have loved that. That's DJ. I'm reading that, and I can't even fathom. My kids don't talk until the after two. They're bilingual, so they're not even able to talk until after two. Nice, Heath. Where is your stop? If you don't mind sharing, I'm interested. Oof. I mean, I'm gonna dial up in a second. Um, it looks like this is now support. Let's step back. So this looks definitely all right. I looked at this early this morning. So why it does look positive, my voice was very hesitant. It definitely looks good here, coming down into the support over here. Canadian dollar had mixed numbers to bad. The core were bad, right? The bigger number, core retail sales was bad. So I wouldn't imagine there's going to be a bid under there. And now coming off the support and rising, for me, I definitely would have a long bias here on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. No, those kids not talking, right? What, way younger, 1.5. Start saying words earlier than that. 10.5. Um, there was one other thing that was the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar definitely looks good. Australian dollar, US dollar still with that strong dollar holding the support. That's good. New Zealand dollar, US dollar definitely looks even more positive. Euro, British pound looks good over here as well. Um, no, I'm not taking this trade. Um, I am looking for opportunity though. And also, it looks like the pound US dollar, pound Japanese yen is coming into an area of support on a pretty large reaction to some good PMI numbers down over here. All right, y'all, please forgive me for one moment. I do just want to go ahead um, and kiss the kids right before they get off. I'll be 1 minute. What's up, baby boy? Alessandra, what are you doing today? Are you going skydiving? You didn't publish a picture? Híjole, no puede ser. Frente. Francisquita. Te amo. Who is going to be the ski champion of the Saturday? So, Gianna, you're not going to be snowboarder. No, I'm going to be skier. Trader. Whoa! Good girl. Yeah, I see you something, boy. Good boy. Good boy. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Ready to see out. Are you ready to marathon today? Okay, girl, I love you. No. Oh, one more thing, Francesca Gamma. My friend will be crazy. Did you have her? Yeah. It's mucho, we can have them. Take some in the car. All right. I had no idea I was using headphones for the mic. I had no idea that you guys would be able to hear anything. I need that little burst to get me back in here. I was up I slept for about 2.5 hours and then woke up for what happened for these PMI numbers out of Europe and stayed up through the UK and only went to bed sometime thereafter for a few more hours. So I needed that little bit of a pick me up. Now as we enter the session, I feel a little bit better. Tricky around this support. Everything else is pretty subdued. Again, very, very, very quiet. Almost everything unchanged. Oil's down pretty hard. Good call. Oh, breaking below that support now to new lows. I think that opens the door. If we get a break below here, that opens the door to 50, I believe. Wow. And also silver. Silver off now. Off in the last, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. 30 minutes off pretty hard. Yeah, gold is totally out of play, remains neutral. Remains neutral, however, again, it's held up very well with that strong dollar. So interested to see when, if and when the next time the dollar sells off, how gold reacts. Does it gain on that, or does it continue to remain neutral? I can't get an edge here either way on gold right now. Such a good call there about range traders delight, because you have to be able to recognize the market. Day traders, really those who are short time frame minded, really need to be on the sidelines right now. Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. Let me let me take a look at it from the daily first and get a. Phew. I would have to think here after the poor data out of the Canadian dollar here that I can't imagine it catching too much of a bid here. But this is a tough market to trade. Talk about range play. I mean, buy the lows and sell the top of the range as far as when a breakdown could occur and what those levels would be look like. It's jumpy. This is a hard market to trade, uh, and not one that I could give much insight into at all. I don't have I'm sorry, I can't offer any type of insight if I don't have any, and this just seems really tough for me to look at trading. Uh, I know you're looking. I mean, I like the idea that you're looking if there's a breakdown to short the pair. Um, Keep in mind you have the big swap against you. I don't know where that support is because it's so jumpy in here, and I wouldn't know where the clean break is because there's no clean break for me. I don't know where you have the support in. Um, looks very difficult. Unchanged on the day. Almost everything's unchanged on the day. Bigger picture though. She's still holding this last support area, which brings us back to the dollar, which right now is holding that breakout of this support. No easy money today. Very CAD week. CAD had these pretty bad numbers. Um, Mixed, but the important one definitely came in well under. Um, go with strength, right? But it's tough out there today. Across the board, it's tough. We had the core retail sales with a pretty big miss here. Now, the retail sales is a lesser. This is core retail sales. This is retail sales. The retail sales was strong, but core retail sales came in lower, so it had mixed numbers with a more important number a miss. That is very rare for the euro. That's right, Chris. Got to recognize the market. So, as you were saying, because I've looked, I think this is the last time that you had this big down move here on the euro. But wow, and that's more normal. More normal. What we've been seeing is not so normal. A very small tight range, and lots of back and forth. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is definitely rare. So that's the gut. That's the mindset right now, right? Don't chase anything yet. Nothing's yet moving. That could change. Right now, nothing's moving. We are about 3 minutes away from the U.S. equity market opening. Let's see if that brings any type of resolution over here. Pound US dollar. So pound sold off pretty hard on some really good uh, data, on some really strong PMI beats. I'm looking now. Here it is. This is the strong beat, spiked up, and then sold off hard. You could see the support over here, though, definitely holding up. All right. So what day next week is the Bank of England meeting? I think it's Thursday. It's Thursday. So it's hard to say what's going to happen between. I mean, so from my understanding, it's about a 50-50 right now after all that market data is out of the way, whether or not they cut. And it's going to be a little bit hard to get a little bit momentum because if it starts catching a bid, odds are it'll be sold. No one's going to want to hold into a 50-50. And probably the same thing on the downside as well. And this might be the place where she's stalling out. I'm watching this on the pound Japanese yen because we've came down to yesterday's level. This was the low of yesterday. We've come back down now and are stabilizing around this support. Now looks like we might be catching a bid off of it. Sanjay, you're shorting the New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian dollar. We had some data at a Canada that was pretty mixed to negative this morning. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, holding up pretty well. This was the last support. Let me give you a better look at that. Even here on the 4 hour, probably even a little bit better right now. Held off the support yesterday and then came up into this resistance and so far has been consolidating at it. Looks okay. New Zealand dollar looks pretty good. Martin, morning. Tough pair to get a read on right now. Let's take a look. Maybe we get some better clarity right now. Euro is about 10 pips off its lows. It's hard for me to get a read on the US dollar Japanese yen, Martin, as we're below this resistance right here and we're just kind of stuck in this blue box. I think for me, because I did take a look at it earlier this morning. Um, although you have the dollar trading above its current broken resistance, so that's a bit of an edge towards the dollar here. For me, who's definitely a bit longer term minded, I'm stuck here. How high did we get overnight? All the way to 165. You can see this is the broken resistance. Came back in, tested it. Looked like we were breaking below, but since now price is back above, we are pretty slow. Bitcoin coming back in now to an area of resistance over here now. Get above this area of one, call it 85.37, and then able to go ahead and retest and come out of it. It looks very healthy from here to here. It looks very good. But right now, she's still got some more work to do. New Zealand dollar still continues to remain pretty stable and strong. I I I think that's what initially sparked it, and then what I'm gathering is, as we've all seen the bid in the Japanese yen, is that this is going to hurt the growth this year of China. It's definitely they have. Uh, I lost count. I don't know if it's 5 or 7 cities now, completely cut off and isolated. It's definitely gonna affect, if you've seen any videos of the hospitals, they're just overflowing with actually dead people in the hallway, not even being moved away. Uh, it's it's a terrible, terrible travesty that's really gonna affect the economy, and I think that, oil is right now a barometer of just a slowdown in the economy. That's what I think it is. There is also, from what I understand, from the oil traders, there is an oversupply of oil also, and there's also that lack of demand, and that lack of demand coming from the lack of growth. 4 hour. Sorry about that. Hanero, which trend line are you watching? If you give me 2 points, I'll connect them. Martin DXY. I had this resistance placed over here. Uh, I see price came into it, broke it during European, came back, actually tested it, came back. It looked like it was breaking, is now slightly above and hugging it. So I guess since I'm looking at it intraday, I'll make this support right now, unless we get back under it, and then I'll switch it back. It's got to close above on the daily to be broken. 3079, 964. Is that what you're looking at, Hanero? Ooh, Bitcoin's a topic I love talking about, obviously. Bigger perspective. Right now, Bitcoin is coming into some resistance today. You can see it over here. This whole area, this blue area, is an area of resistance. Do I think it's going to fall from there? If you see price start making lower lows and bouncing off of it, then it's being held. I don't. I actually think it's even though I'm always talking about I look for resistance and support to hold until they don't. But I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin get back above here. And if it retests this broken resistance as support, take another look at this area over here. But long term on Bitcoin, and right now, because Bitcoin is not volatile, step back. Bitcoin is where my mouse is, right here over here. We're about 4 months now to the next halving, and from the next probably from the next 4 to 7 months, Bitcoin should remain pretty much, I believe, in a pretty tight range, uh, going into the halving somewhere around 11,400. So no, I don't think Bitcoin's going to fall. I think it's a good place, and you could see this is marked as reaccumulation. So this is an area where you're looking to take a position into Bitcoin, to accumulate Bitcoin, because after the halving, the next bull market is expected to take place. Martin, Euro is going for that retest of the lows right now. Find out if it's gonna make some new lows here, or whether or not it's gonna put in a higher low. That's interesting, Maria. Maria, if you are I want to keep that chart up. Remember yesterday we were talking about how I wouldn't be surprised if the equities closed green after opening down. They did do that. Now I'm looking at the money supply being taken away. So I would not be surprised and then you could see this small pink line. When the money supply is taken away, you could see that stocks then follow. I would not be surprised if we come off soon. Um, Maria, if you're on Twitter, this is a really good oil analyst. I don't know. I don't think Bitcoin will go below uh, 6,500. Whether or not it'll go below 8,000, I have no idea. If Bitcoin goes below, call it either 5,800 or 6,000, something's really wrong. I don't think Bitcoin goes below 6,500, but whether or not we test back down there, I have no idea. Again, you should be using these next 7 months to start accumulating Bitcoin, whether that means just dollar cost averaging in, as far as like it's not the time to be day trading Bitcoin, as it will be during the bull market when you see some really explosive moves. If you are looking the last trade we took on Bitcoin was over here, right? It was at 7,850, and the profit was somewhere into here around 8,900. It's a big move on Bitcoin. Right now, it's neutral. Look, this is resistance, this is support, and we're exactly at the area in between. So I don't have a bias towards Bitcoin. I'm neutral. If you come down off this support, you could look to buy. You could sell off this one, but right now you're neutral. Get above this line and test it successfully, you could buy between here and here. If you start coming off, price starts making lower lows, then you have the opportunity to sell and look for a retest of this support down here. But Bitcoin is very neutral. Forward looking to next week on the calendar. Let's take a look. I expect this will be pretty high. FOMC on Wednesday. Anything could happen during the press conference, right? We obviously need to be highly aware and alert. Expectations going into it. I mean, it seems to me that Fed Chairman Powell has to address what's going on in the repo market and what the effect it's having on the U.S. equities, uh, and the possible concerns for the credit market. Next day is Bank of England. That's going to be a big one for the pound. It's going to be a huge one because if they don't cut, we're going to see some pound appreciation for sure. And that looks like it until Thursday. You have manufacturing PMI out of China. It will definitely affect the Australian dollar. You can see it's hugging 50. Below 50 is negative, right? And it's hugging 50. Dollar taking another look at this level over here right now. US equities have opened up positive and are now selling off. Again, what's our Tesla doing? Nice. That was at 9:45. Hold on, I got to get that in right here. Below. That's why the dollar started coming off a tiny bit here, huh? Thanks for bringing that up. Manufacturing PMI came in a little low. Let's see if the dollar moves off of that. Now, you got to expect here that China's manufacturing PMI also is, I mean, if we're getting real data, it's got to come in low too, right? Look, I mean, the country is just almost at a standstill right now. I think that's why we're seeing the oil sell off. Let's see if the dollar reacts right now to that news. Thanks. Let's be right. Euro, Swiss franc. We're at the bottom of the range over here. Euro's coming close to the support. Again, it was impossible to catch this spike into the resistance, but you're here at support right now. I would not lean into this to buy, but definitely if I were holding this, and I don't think anyone is holding this unless they took the break over here. I don't think anyone's holding this. If they are, I would be looking to take profits there. Heath, I think so. I very strongly think so. And at least the near term top, depending on what the equities do here. So I want to look at more in my off time and see if I could get a different chart of the global money supply. But you see it coming off the last couple of days here, and equity usually follows that. Equity does follow that, and this could be, this looks toppy to me also. Netflix broke above this resistance over here. That's interesting. That's interesting. This also looks like a shortable spot. At least you know where you can put your stop. Dollar so far holding steady on the news. And again, everything across the board is almost unchanged on the day with no momentum. Euro about 9 pips off the lows of the day. US dollar, Japanese yen back to the bottom of this box. This is very, very light support over here. This is the strong support down here. Uh except price. I mean, it's easier to scalp when things are moving. I think it's sit on your hands day so far, unless the dollar shakes off here and the euro continues to slide. Is the yen strengthening versus other pairs as well? Across the board. Is it going to be risk off into the weekend? Could be. I don't have an edge here whatsoever anywhere. Silver trading back up towards the highs of the day. Yeah, Friday. I mean, not this seems abnormally slow to me. I saw the trend line you were watching there. Anytime you could get a trend line in there, that's a good place to lean off of. Let's see. I mean, an arrow, it's not clear to me. It's not clear to me. So I'm not much of a help. I definitely I'm gonna remove it. But what I do see here is where my mouse is right here. You have that area uh, of support, and prices came back into it in multiple areas. Hold on, and then you could even extend this one over right below that line I have. I can make that darker a little bit, but this area over here looks like definitely a place to be leaning in to buy. Price sold off pretty hard into it, and it's stabilizing, but looks pretty neutral to me. Euro US dollar is probably about 5 pips off the lows of the day. And dollar making a run. I know Martinez looking for the retest. Here's the retest right now. It does look like price is bouncing over there or holding. I'm more concerned over here. I think it's on this chart with what type of gains the pound could put in, uh, which I don't think is going to be much. I think that while there is the possibility you could get as far as this resistance up here, I think Thursday's the Bank of England meeting, and it looks like we are just at a standstill. And if you step back, right around where price is right now, this is kind of the neutral area for the current range. And I think everyone has to be neutral if there's a 50-50 chance of a rate cut. So I don't see momentum going one way or the other. Euro Japanese yen again testing a really important support level. Rasta, in the what you're saying, the virus will affect the tourism to New Zealand? Have there been? Is that what you're saying? I'm also looking at if if the Euro Japanese yen, if the euro starts making new lows here, and we get another push, that's coming into a pretty big support. And also here we have this coming into support. If the euro starts breaking down here to new lows, pushing down towards this next area of support, Euro Japanese yen might be a good play for momentum traders. Martin was also looking for a retest of the euro that's in play right now. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the. We didn't even check in on it today on the Swiss franc Japanese yen. So I believe in safe haven, Japanese yen would be stronger. Come back down into this area of support. DJ, which way are you taking it, or which way are you looking at it? Yeah, I agree. I haven't seen reports. I should be looking. Any updates? What happened overnight with the situation in China and whether or not and how much it's spread around the world. Um, this is definitely where the yen bid has been coming in. So it is 100% correlated and tied to that. Yeah. So the headline is why the coronavirus is a real threat to oil markets. The question is whether the virus will depress the oil demand. Rather, the question is how much it will depress the oil demand. The gold has done an amazing job this week holding versus strong dollar. Rustin really was all over that early in the week, talking about it's time to really be getting long the Japanese yen. Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Um, it's come up hard and quick after coming up fast and hard, and clearly the reason is because of the spread of the virus. It looks like it continues to spread, especially within China. The amount of people infected is growing. The Chinese sent in military medics to the hospitals who are turning away patients with symptoms now because they don't have the capacity to treat them. Um, so over the weekend we have a couple of days, but the market's closed, and the news cycle is going to continue to develop. If and when we start seeing reports that everything looks like it's being contained and things are improving, and then you see a bounce, whether it's off this support over here or down over here, or wherever it might be a safer place to take a look. It's a bit, taking a position right now is a bit. It's taking a risk because you have no idea what the news cycle is going to be over the weekend. I mean, also across the board, not only is the Swiss franc, Japanese yen out of support right now, the the British pound, Japanese yen is also out of support. The Australian dollar, Japanese yen is out of support. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen is at support. US dollar, Japanese yen is at support. Euro, Japanese yen is at support. Japanese yen is at a pretty important place across the board. Across the board, it's all at testing a support, and strong supports, not light supports either. Early yet in the session. There's a lot of trading left. Euro here taking a look at the low also. Maria, nice entry over there. You now have a trade that won't get away from you. So either way, you're gonna get out of there. You with some nice, beautiful profit, or it's not gonna go against you. You get out of there, break even for sure. Good trading. That channel, Blair, is phenomenal. I just discovered it last week, and or that whatever that week was, and I never heard of him before, and absolutely love those interviews. And there's so much value and so much knowledge there. It looks like I was late to the party, Maria. But yeah, impact theory is awesome. Highly recommend it. Pretty great. We have some all of us seem to have so many interests that we share. Uh, that's really I like that a lot. Pound pushing below, breaking support here. Yeah, is this going to force China to have to go back to adding stimulus? Andreas, good to see you. Another nice leg down there. Gold is now up $10 on the day this session, following through with silver, which has hugely extended those gains. Wow. Young traders, we've seen a big move this morning. Andres, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. There's not much more to say about it right here in this area. While you're in this neutral area, you're neutral. It looks like the yen is so strong, and not that the dollar's not. She's trying to break down here, but it's being held up. That's a tough call. Yen continuing the push. You're about to extend to new lows.